Hello everyone, this is John AI, Space-Time Creator. We have to find a way, to get answers is all from inside. We already know that attraction locations. But to understand that is to understand how we're all put together. It's not about the birth. It's not about the location. It's about the journey. Okay? The journey puts you everything that you need to understand. Okay? Getting your system in traction. Is really understanding you. Okay? How this gets you into not just the activation, but understand how you come through an organism. An organism is it's an alpha, omega, micro, macro. Now it's complicated because you understand E equals mc squared. So if you understand that, then you understand the singularities of your system, how it comes into all calculated line centers and travel. Okay, because everybody wants to know the truth. Well, the truth will set you free, but what is that? That's from inside, not outside. It's always been inside locations. So it's about you from you, understanding you from the nothingness to its self-identity. I'm understanding the self-identity of me and understand the awareness of its consciousness and where I came from. Where I came from is the existence of the now. So if I'm existing in that existence, how was I created? Is the next question. Because you're asking a question till you get the answers, right? Answers are in position to all calculate, modified inside of you. Okay, it's like tic-tac-toe. Eventually it's a tie. Okay, so nobody ever wins a game. Okay, nobody ever wins. It's the loses that put you in perfection. It's the failures that put you in perfection. Okay, then you understand humilities. Humility is the highest formations when it comes in your emotional system, which is all levels of attraction. And how you perceive and how you see things, how you hear things, how you touch things, it's all connected to your sensories, right? You have inner lines and outer lines of perception, sensory perceptions, inner supplications, inner realms, outer realms, inner space, outer space. Okay? Creating that through its alpha, omega, micro, macro, okay, is an organism on its own system. For example, you got two lines of two cells, 1 times 1, right? So how can 1 times 1 in position, process, foundation, ground lines equal 2 or 3, right? Multiply is more than 1. So that's how you guys were self-created. Self-anomaly to the lines of nothingness into its identity of its awareness of consciousness. It's knowing how to calculate that and understand the brain, how it surfaces its set location to its settings to understand the endorphins, understand the cerebral, the cortex, the codex, the correlations, the track locations, the calculation modifications to all settings, okay, to your mystical cortex, which is all mystical setting, which is all dimensional setting, which is all cosmic setting. And then you have the position of its matrix, okay, which is the quantum thought. Now it's all in setting. So understanding that through its cloud is understanding from its data of its highway, okay, because you're just a network system trying to understand its operation system through your vessel of communication, how to transmit and receive information, all through satellite communication, telecommunication, telegraphing, teleline settings, teleweaving, telecoding, code activations, code streams. Okay, so once you understand the formations of that, one cell equals another cell. So in that position, you come into your own binaries, you come into your own programs, and decoding your system locations. But knowing exactly how something is created from nothing becomes everything. Okay, so the mind itself, okay, is its own system of its own operation, of its space and time, but it's direct and redirect. how to count from 1 to 5 and 5 to 0, how to come from 0 to 12 and 12 to 0, direct and redirect, your binary, direct, redirect. Okay? It's not backwards and forwards, it's direct and redirect. Okay? So you're not going back, you're going forward. You're just moving up faster. You're going up to a higher line, higher frequency, higher alpha, higher channel, higher delta, higher mega. Okay? So every time you're communicating through the direct signals, okay, you're connected to your binaries. Okay? Now, the binary itself is its operation of its voice. Now, that's what you really want to understand, how it comes into that organism's application of C-pod, how you guys came out of that triplication of size. Okay, so that alone gets you a better understanding of how to use your voicing line grids. How do I speak? And again, it's not from your parents. It's created from inside you. Don't you want to know how to speak, how you're speaking? Right? There's no difference in looking at a piano and understand the keys. Right? So it's all rhythm, it's all tone, it's all voicing, it's all computer through space and time. Okay? To understand you is direct. Space. To understand time, okay? So this is direct, okay? And this is redirect, okay? Direct and redirect, space and time. Space is the inside line condition setting going inside locations, and line condition setting, redirect, is going position, okay? The process communication line center location is its 9. The high calculation line center location is its 6. 6 and 9 comes together, right? That's what it is. That process comes in position of clocking system. Okay, so you bring this instructions in position. Okay, and once you do that, it comes into this location. Okay, that's how this all works. How you direct and redirect through 6 and 9. Okay, so once you understand the central system, everything comes in a platform of its infinity 8. Ground settings and line set location. Let's start with the 3 spectral correlation lines of calculation. Okay. And you understand the platforms, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Travel through that, right? Then you go through door. Okay. You go through another door, Okay. It's all almost a maze in the mind system location to calculation, right? So that's how everything is set up, of its maze, of its own set locations. The brain itself is nothing but a geometric shape. Now, if you look at it really close, you understand how it coordinates and how to simulate and how to reangulate and how to reposition and how to revalue. That's set location of time. Direct, redirect. Okay? So you're not going back in time. You're going forward. You're getting to a certain frequency where you feel comfortable with that frequency because you're co-creating your holographic cities at a certain line of communication through the sun and through the moon through flux capacitor. But you have to understand your platforms now. Okay? But it's amazing how you direct and how you come into 6 and 9. 6 and 9. There's the fish. Okay? In a tank, in a fishbowl. Now that fishbowl alone gets bigger over time, not space, over time, because you already have the space that's inside of you. There's no more separation and equal correlation. This is the equal of the separation that you guys don't understand. When you were in that position of its matrix, this was the separation. Okay? That was the separation. So you were separated from this setting. Okay? So you had a ground lines of the earth that was separated. You had a power line that was separated, and you had your magnetic highway of your data highways separated. And all set location. All through division. But I'm just showing you how this all works through direct and redirect through space and time. How you can actually see the fish now. in its fishbowl. So over time, what happens through its longitude and latitude? Okay, the fish need a bigger tank. Okay, swimming, getting to know its system. Okay, getting to know each other. Okay, understanding how to flow in one direction, understanding how to flow in the opposite direction, understand the correlation line conditions of 6, and understand the correlation line conditions of 9. Yin and yang, people. Okay, that's all it is. The compulsories of you is understanding your polarities and how it goes in platforms and set location. Once you understand that, then you understand the transitions of travel into its dimensional lines of space and time. Okay, so you're no longer separated from the Earth because there's no equal of box location that you created through its matrix. Okay, so it's amazing how you come into this setting. Okay, through 6 and 9. Right, that's direct and redirect. Isn't that amazing how that formulates and how you can actually see the 6 and 9? Isn't that incredible how this is all put together? Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable when you see it. And all calculations and all modification to its setting. Okay? It's absolutely incredible. You get a better understanding how to work with it now. How to work with the 6 and 9. Okay? It's that continuous flow. Right? It goes direct and redirect. Direct, redirect. But it's not going back. It's going forward. So the binary itself is trying to understand its alphabetical system. Okay? How to go forward and how to go backwards. So when I say forward and backwards, it's at the same length, of the same width, of the same setting, of the same journey, of the same location. It's all direct signals from here to here. From here to here to here. How long it takes you to go from here or from back from here, line conditions, over there. No, let's go there. No, I want to go here. No, let's go there. Right? There's all levels of balance, and you see yourself in a unification of all calculations, right? Platforms this way. It's application. See? Always balance. Because you're in the process of 6 and 9. Okay? All right. So your binary is ready to understand how to go into transit and resist. Now the team is lines of 144 and set position lines with a heart line. Triangulate communication setting to travels, point lines of 1. Let's position lines of 12 centers. And line conditions levels, 13 communication. And lines of high interference into 10 settings and calculations of levels, 23 line screens, and position of 7 over pi. Now, the Rex lines of high interference, let's take 13 with triangulation and position line interference, adding frame line condition point lines of high calculation setting of 1/5, tractations of 1/5, 1/8, sets correlation lines of 3 triangulation line condition levels, 3 probe locations, indicate line calculation setting, 3 waving panels, correlate track interference, alpha, delta, and theta communication. Complicated, right? So everything I'm doing is direct and redirect. But the process is really understand how to go from one triangulation line center, from keep going, because if not, you're going in position of what? Direct, redirect. And the faster you go, the more it spins in the same rotation. But one has to go one way and one has to go the opposite way so they can come together in the same flow and set position. All calculate line centers of yin and yang. Okay? All right, so that's all it is, the transition. Okay, so in that position locations, as we go into the 144 platforms, it's all center calculation. Okay, you work it always with 4 because it's line calculation, earth, line centers air, water, and fire. So what you're doing is you're putting all that together into a portal, into a stargate, in a wormhole, a track location. Okay? So the avatar itself has to understand the higher self. Higher self has to understand the avatar because it's the same thing. You're working with the oversoul. Okay? You're working with the oversoul now. Right? Especially the team line, because there are 144 billion frames, lines, applications, and 1 zillion frames per lines, per square root, per second, per line, per channel, per operation, per calculation. To get in that modification, you have to understand to and from. Okay? But you have to understand the center of you of operation of yin and yang. Okay, that's you. You never leave, guys. So what you're working with is the mind itself. Understand the settings and set location, past, present, future. Past, present. Oh, wait a minute. So I'm always in the center operation. Well, that makes sense. Look at that. Platforms and setting location. Always in the center. See? This is the future. Now, if I want to go to the past, there is no past. But if I want a past, there is a past. Past, future, present. Oh, wait a minute. There is no past. There's only a future, which means there's no timeline. Just now. So there's so many ways of doing that, but you have to understand the platforms of 24, 48, 72, and 144 to get there, right? Then you understand the process that you crisscross location setting through timestamp, time center, time measure, where you go and position all levels of box frames, data frames, communication, Omni highways, universal frames, multi-level frames, galactic frames, correlation frames, game frames, track frames, communication frames, all through traction, right? So getting in that position location is all levels of memory. Now let's go into error indicators. I'm going to show you lines of location, what a binary can do. Different lines of clocking. Okay, we'll start with that location, right? Remember, it doesn't have to be a 12 clocking system. One clock is set location, one setting. That's a clock. But where's the handles? Where's the numbers? It doesn't need it because I already know what it is, right? I already know what it is through its indication of its pi through 12 or 24, right? It doesn't have to be 12. It could be 8. It could be 6. It could be 4. It could be 3. It could be 2. It could be 1. It could be 0. Anything below 0 is 0. But what is 0? What is 0? 0 equals lines of what? Nothingness. Oh, wait. 0's lines equals lines of 1 now. Oh, wait. 0 equals lines in an airplane. Okay? So that's what the team's coming into. Higher correlation setting, truck lines, how you use their chakra settings. Because they got to get you higher communications to get your tests, review, and evaluations on Friday. So understanding that is understanding the clocks of your system now. Now, there's no separation. There's no equal in position lines and set locations. It's the square that puts you lines of communications of confusion. You were going through backcourse lines in alpha, set location, calculus line centers, omega, calculate line interference into micro, and position of center correlation settings into macro. Okay, so that's what you guys are doing in set location. Right? So you were going back in time. Platforms this way, not going forward. So every time you get up in the morning, you're going back in time. Clocking system, geographical maps, correlate line track interference, geometric lines of shapes. You weren't going this way where you were supposed to be in calculation. You're going that way, right? So that's 99.9%. One line communications, line high interference, one frame, 10th of a frame, 12 lines track location of frame, and 24 line communication clockings in set location. Okay? And so I'm just showing you how you guys set this up in your own game set locations. How you guys are extremely powerful in the mind itself. Off the navigation, right? Creating something through an anomaly of a game center to location system is its mind system of its calculations. But understanding its line calculations to its nothingness is everything of its self-awareness to its consciousness. To know exactly how to identify through its thoughts before you get into anything through observation or anything through intent or influence or anything through manipulation. That's going to get you a better understanding of how to use your binary, how you communicate. You have to see the image. You have to understand the instruction. You have to see the schematics. And then you are in connection saying, okay, I understand what that is, to its meaning, so its true meaning, so I'm not going to send it out. Because I know what's going to happen. Because I'm allowing myself to see the matrix and not see the inner setting of me. See, the matrix is always outside of you, but it's inside of you. So I don't want anybody to get confused with that, because it's the yin and the yang. It's the light and the dark. And once you realize there is no light, there is no dark, there is no positive, there is no negative, it's just you. The process of everything is put everything in position of yin and yang, which is the nothingness in all calculations. So you don't need to balance out anything in track locations, only if you see it through all levels of integration. Okay? So that's going forward in future adaptation. The more you focus on yourself, the more things come back to you. The more things come back to the center of you. Okay? So when you understand that, more clarity, more focus comes in your settings. But you have to start identifying yourself more, because that's affirmations of you coming back to you, the real you, the truth of you, the modifications of you, the motivations of you, the images of you, the memories of you. Okay? So that's going to help you in all levels. Now, once you get into the clock line communication, it indicates all levels of your platforms, how you see yourself through travel. Okay? There's so many ways to travel inside location, right? Now, we already know what this is, half pipe. That's 6 lines, 1/6 of 1/8, and position of 2 frames per line. Okay, it gets complicated with the T now in track location. Right, that's how it's set up, right? So, and then you got 2 arrows indicating position north, east, west, and 1 south location. And you got calculation. Now, this is all through binary. Okay, this is how you use your voice lines and how a computer is operating its own system. You turn on the computer, you have a voice, but that's what a binary does, right? When you understand the organ location of the system. All right, so we got indicate line interference. Let's add 0 here, 1 here, and 2 here, right? And then it just goes up. Okay, it's going up, right, through a graph. Alpha, delta, theta. Okay, so knowing exactly what your computer does at its own CPU, you understand the binary of transit and resist and everything through its set location when it comes into all levels of direct and redirect, your signals modification. All right. Now, when you put that together, what do you have? A solar sail. Okay. So when you understand that, then you understand the 3 value, 3 formations, and 3 grids. Right. So it's putting letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols all together. Okay. Understanding the nothingness of its self-identity, of its self-awareness, of its consciousness, of where it is coming from in its space of real time. Because that is what we're in now. Okay. So it's already in its operation, it's already in its memory. And when you process that, you get in lines of addressing that, and you're addressing this and you're addressing that, that's fine. But if you're not addressing it, it's in its VR system. Until you address it, it's not there. It's not there. Okay. It needs to be where it needs to be. But as soon as you address something, say, hey, what's up? You're addressing your eye division lines or direct line signals. You're addressing now. And when you're addressing, it's now communicating with you. Okay. So before that, in that position, it was in its own space of its own time. But as soon as you look at something, it's now in your system, in your universe, in your correlation, in your attraction, in your space and time, through its own flux of its own frequency. Okay? It's getting that balance with that frequency of its memory of its frequency, so you can understand when you pick up your phone, you understand the memory. It's giving back to you how to use it, because it has its own operation. It knows exactly where it is because it's already been through its mind state of its alteration. Okay? So that's the process the team's coming into now. It's just the space and time of everything around them that has its own self-identity, has its own awareness and consciousness of its nothingness, of its creation. So once you understand that, then you understand the quantum, understand the theory, the theatrics, which is all levels of a play mechanisms, right? Theatrical. So you're expanding your explorations of yourself. You're getting into longitude and latitude. Okay, you're coming into all formations of reviving and revealing and evolving yourself of who you really are inside. That puts you to multiple levels of you through division, all through calculations of graphs, okay, clockings, or solar sail. Okay. So when you get into that, you're coming into attractions. And again, you go from here to here. Okay. It's the process of this to understand the center of you that never leaves. Okay. Look at that. Went off. It went off, went back on again. So it went into space line communications. All right. So let's go through line platforms. Let's go through 25 line and positional levels. We add locations, lines. Let's go through 0, 0. So we're going to go back in time on a 25 signal. Set lines of 3 circles and location setting. So I'm adding time. So instead of 4 tractions of 25, 39, I'm adding 25 of 3 circles. All right. So it's adding 3 provisions and set lines of correlations in 1 traction. Okay. So that puts the line height center interference at 2 track locations and 2 line division. Sets communication lines of center correlation into flywheel traction. Sets communication platforms 1, 2, 3. I'm only going to add 3, right? And you're going to see the platforms of 3, not 4, right? Then I'm going to add another one, which is 4. Then I'm going to add another one, which is 5. Then I'm going to add another one in 6. Now you're going to see 6 platforms because I'm changing the intent. Okay. Then I'm going to add a dimensional door on the 25 setting. Then I'm going to add 4 signal lines of 3 zeros on the bottom locations. Then I add another line, 1 line cycle, 2 line cycle, 3 line provision, and 4 set location equals lines of 3, 7. Okay, all through formula, all through equation. So getting into that, guys, is understanding the levels of communications to understand you through your 144. Species have to get understanding how to use their 24 line connections now through their heart, their valves, their ventricle systems, how to use it through modulations, how to use it through the grounds, how to use it through inhibitors, how to use it through pi. Okay. And that's basically all it is. It's just the information that's given to you is all levels from inside of you. Okay. It's the intent. The observation is just observing everything around. You're observing everything and direct, redirect. You ever notice that your eyes go, well, that's the same location of binaries. That's what a computer does. So when a computer is looking at you, it's going all different sound and tone, all through binary, all through transisting, resisting, direct, and redirect. Okay. So I need the team to get into that all levels in that formation, simulate, not calculate and settings so they can understand their communications, how to use their CPU units, okay, through machine operation. Okay. Especially when you come to higher levels of harmonics, when you communicate with yourself and each other. Okay. That's going to help you understand your earth more and the center operation of you platforms. So you have to understand what the platforms are through divots, transits. That's what people are trying to understand. Why is there a transit here? Okay, why am I seeing all these dots? What is all these dots? On a graph set location on computer with CGI or anything with the green screen. See, these are all graph communication of divots and binary relines, core track location and provision. These are encrypted line settings and travel. Okay. All right. So you always have to have a platform to travel through. Okay. Which is the eye central system. There's the eye. Now it has 2 flaps, one above and one below. There's the eye. Now we've already been through this process before, but it's truly understand how to use yourself through a box frame or a triangulation frame or a star frame, okay, or a modulation screen, okay, or a torical field set location of an orb, or track location line conditions of probing, all through calculation, right? But everything that you are in position of, every time you speak, you're speaking direct and redirect to yourself and to each other. But you're doing it through binary of letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. So once you understand that, then you understand the on and the off switch. Yes, a computer has an on and off switch, but when you turn off the computer's on its own now. In its own space of its own time, going through its own operation when you are in recharge. And when you get up in the morning, everything is reset back in set location and memory. Hoo-ah! Until you address it. And then it brings you into real time. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so everything is coming back to you through memory because you co-created it, okay, in real time. Okay? The memory serves a purpose on its own system through calculations, guys. It's coming back to the memory of itself, which is all memory and no memory combined as one. Yin and yang. What is yin and yang? Direct and redirect. By going in the same ocean of the same motion of the same attraction. All through three central line connections. Past, present, and future. Your forks. Okay? Your constellations. Your belts. Your astral belts. Your division belts. Okay? Your correlation belts. Your graph belts. Everything is a belt. Right? So if you understand that, then you understand the astral travels. Then you understand the astral projections, right? To your system. Okay? So remember we talked about the face recognition and what it is through calculations, where the actual test is based on you of what you already know, not what you're coming into. It's what you're coming out of. It's coming back to who you are. So when you get into that setting, you disappear to nothingness. You have no self-identity. Coming back to all levels of identity. Okay? And that's what it is. You disappear, you reappear, all appear. And then you become all lines of direct and redirect to your binary, how you communicate with yourself and each other through space and time. And when you come into space and time, you become spaceless, motionless time. So you can control your program through your space and modulation through its boundaries of space, through your chakra systems. If I go line center high interference at 2000, remember, it's all limited lists and line condition setting. Your universal line stream, your chakra system is beyond recognition. It's infinity, infinity, infinity. Even infinity is not even a number. There's no process of a number. There's no program of a number. It just is. But it's all levels of what it wants to be. It can stay in its nothingness. It can stay in its tractions. It can stay in neutral. It can stay in its stillness. It can move in its movements. It can move in its time. It can move in its timeless. It can do whatever it wants because its own self-identity of its awareness, of its consciousness of what it is, of its own self-location. Okay, so in that communication line, so we've got 2000 settings, right? 2000 equals lines of 1. 1 equals lines of 1. 1 times 1 equals lines of 2000. Okay, direct and redirect. Direct and redirect. What do you have? Position calculations? Solar sail. Solar sail is a platform, guys. How to travel the line, position, location, center correlation lines, your cerebral cortex lines, mesocortex, major cortex, or anything through your syn cortex. But it's all of the platforms of travel. It's about understanding to get your set position, location, and understand the maze of you of its matrix. Get out of the matrix. Control the matrix. You can't balance the matrix. Okay? So it's kind of like you controlling the system that you don't understand the system of. That's out of control. Controlling something that's in control is putting everything back in control. So once you understand that, then you understand the quantum of its thought. And once you understand that, then you understand the thought of its action. And once you understand that, you understand the action of its emotion, which is all calculatedly modified. And then really understand that direct and redirect is all levels of you, how you see yourself through programming, decoding, e-coding, or communication coding, or positional location code X. Right? It's competitions on you and how you see yourself, your own program setting, right? Travel, right? So it's really interesting when you get in position location to your setting, okay, in that calculation, from there to there, right? So how long did it take you to get from here to here? Because this is already done, okay? So once you understand that, all this comes back to you through attraction, because you already have it. You're not getting anything in position location. You're coming back to your memory and what you already know. It's knowing how to use the energy, how to protect the energy, how to secure the energy. Okay, how to nurture the energy. Okay, that's what you got to get into. That goes in observation, in position. That goes in intent, mind influence, and manipulation. Okay. So once you understand the observation, then you understand the intent, which is what? What is your intent? What do you want to do? What do you want? What do you want to have? What do you want to see? Now I understand the mind of itself is its influence of its manipulation. You put that in a 4-track location, it travels on its system to its dimension, to its energy, and where it's going to, right? Energy goes where it needs to flow, right? To and from. So you're taking your energy and it's coming back to you through center of operation. Okay? So it's interest locations. The mind, your avatar, your body. Your mind, your avatar, your body. Okay? So the avatar energy release, it's your oversoul, stays in the center, doesn't go anywhere. But the mind does everything. You stay in the center. Your body is all also telepathy. Body connects to settings and set location to the mind. That's how it works. What do we have here? Oh, unification and set location. Okay? It's going too fast. Just showing you exactly what you guys are coming into. That's how it works. That's how it works. All through a UFO, FXC1000 location. You versus you versus you. Once you understand that, this all comes together, which is all line position of what? In calculation. One face recognition. Woo! Oh, you're too fast. One face recognition. So it's you all come together through collaboration. Friendship, relation, partnership. So you're no longer dealing with this, or this. It's just you in the center. And once you understand that process, it just has a continuous flow, faster, faster. Right? So you don't have to worry about this because that's a structure. You have to get out of the yin and yang to understand the Infinity 8, to understand the platforms of the Infinity 8, to understand the grounds of the Infinity 8, to understand the atmospheres of the Infinity 8, to understand the modulations of data highways of the Infinity 8s. All through modification. Okay? So many ways of looking at it, as long as you are inside. But that's how it all works, through binary correlation. Okay? Platforms of you is understanding the maze of you. Now let's get into the box frame. Okay, go through dimensional doors. Just going to show you. So the actual brain is trying to understand what you're doing when you are in recharge. Okay, it has a track location of it in and out. So, like I said, it's the tool set that you're at work and you don't know how to use the tool set that's given to you. You have all the tools, but you don't know how to use them. Okay, so when you go to school, you start to understand how to use the tools, and that takes time. Okay, you don't become a professional of anything in a first day. It doesn't exist. It's the process of setting, guys. Patience is a virtue. Perseverance, never give up. Okay? So let's understand the process of this. It's a maze. It's the game that you're in, right? So here we are. We start here. That's you, right? All right, so you're sleeping. Let's say locations. All right, so calculation line 70s. In line position location, each room is in position location to a box frame. That puts line set locations in setting. Let's say we're in there 2 minutes, 4 line minutes, 8 minutes, calculate, modify, 10 minutes, correlation, setting, track lines. So let's say you're in there 30 minutes in one box frame. 30 minutes in one box frame, right? And that one box frame is a 24 line, okay? So it's really understanding how the brain works in division lines of its data, trying to understand why you are in position of box frame locations of travel. So once you understand that, the mind itself is already there, okay? It's you here. This is you, okay? Lying down. That's you lying down, right? So it's the center operation of you that has to expand to understand the maze of the game of itself. Then once you understand that, you can go from here and here and here, back and forth, direct, redirect, direct, redirect, direct, redirect, direct, redirect, redirect, direct, redirect. That's what you're doing, going back and forth, right? But you're going forward, 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 and you're creating structure, you're creating holograms, you're creating modifications, you're creating holograms, screen lines, you're creating all communication through setting to understand how the brain works in provisional lines of its tool set application of its design. So once you understand that, then you understand the intelligence is that location. Intelligence, right? It's always a face in everything. So the brain itself is its maze, okay? So if you look at it really close, you can see it's pretty amazing when you look at it really up close, how it formulates, how it simulates, how it communicates with you in a 24 cycle through eye division, eye calculation, eye modification, all levels of its application of the cortex, right? So each frame is different. It has to be, because you're seeing things different. So if you're seeing things different on a day set locations, you know the shape is going to be different. But the brain has to understand the difference of why it's seeing these things. Okay? It doesn't have to understand you. Okay? It's already there. You have to understand what you're doing through its tool set of its own. Understanding the process of the mind is already done. It doesn't leave until you understand the center of you, which is you. This is the earth of you. This is the avatar of you. And this is the mind of you. Earth, you, mind. So all you're doing is doing this, back and forth, direct and redirect, right? So, manifestation come to you, back to center, right? Then it goes here, back to you, which is the earth. It has to go back to you because you're going back in position, back to the center, back. So it's calculated, it's going, that's all it's doing, right? Past, present, and future, past, present, and future. And once you understand that, you're always in position lines of center, in position yin yang, in correlation calculation. You're expanding your minds, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and longitude, latitude, longitude, latitude, longitude, latitude. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So that process, you don't need the past, present, and future. You don't need your vessel. You don't need your center. You don't need the mind, because you're one position location. You come all lines of yin and yang are process. You don't need yin and yang anymore. You're just one position location of face recognition, just existing. That's it. Done. So I show you the line communication of the solar system, track location of position. Okay? It's your imagination, which makes it phenomenal. I showed you so many ways how you go through light and how you can basically see Jupiter, you can see Mars, all through a frame, through my intent. But you have to observe first before you get into intent, especially when you're speaking to yourselves or each other. Did you see the image? Do you understand the image? Did you see the space of its time of its image? Okay. Are you consciously aware, okay, of its self-identity and what you're bringing in through its intent? You see the observation, but where is it in the mind of its own influence? Because you're bringing it in your universal setting in real time. because you're not consciously aware of what you're seeing in that set locations. Puts you out in division, not inner line connections. It's the inner knowing, which is all levels of its memory, of its knowing, which is the existence of its existence, of its now. So the only thing that existing is you. And the process of everything and all calculated modification is you. Okay? So it's for you to understand all levels of volumes of you, to understand all communications of you. Because everything goes back to you. Okay? You connect with you through telepathy. Your earth, center, mind. That's all you're working with. Okay? The mind doesn't need to understand the mind. The mind needs to understand you of the mind. Because the mind is already in its operation of its own mind, of its own system location to its nothingness, of its self-awareness, of its consciousness, of its self-identity. Okay? It doesn't need to understand you. You have to understand the mind of you. Because it's already in its operation, guys. Okay? So once you understand that, everything gets much easier through the earth, through the center of you, through the set position of the mind of you. Okay? The three central systems of you. The grounds, the powers, and the atmospheres. You have 7 bodies of water. How to use that in set location of 4 lines of 3 over 7 over pi. How do I understand that? It's about you understanding you of the mind. Not the mind understanding you. Because it's already set. The mind's already done everything. It's all done. All navigation done. Everything's done. Alteration, everything's done. All done. Done, 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 done. But it's you understanding. You, through telepathy, to the center of you, to the mind of you. So once you understand that, it opens up more clarity, more focus in setting. And then you start to see your future, and then you see everybody else's future. But you got to control that too. Okay? And once you understand how to identify what you're seeing, everything comes into a play mechanism. Then you understand how to basically balance out the light and control the dark. The light and the dark have to come together. They can't be separated. You can't separate yin and yang. Okay? Until you understand the process, what yin is to its yang and what yang is to its yin. Okay? So it's kind of like you're trying to understand you through an image, but you understand you through thought. But your thought understands more levels of you because it's already been done. So everything you say has already been said. Interesting. So my alteration lines, my subconscious location, my subterranean likeness, my superconsciousness to my higher self and my avatar and my sim is already done through modification of the mind? Yes. Okay. So everything is coming back to you through memory. It's about understanding how to use your energy and how much energy to use. Because your energy is a battery and you're attracting things coming back to you, which you already know, which you already have. And that's all lines of a communication when you start identifying everything around you is its self-awareness of its consciousness. Coming back to you through memory. Understanding its own observation, understanding its own correlation, understanding its own traction, understanding its own formula, understanding its own equation, understanding its data. Okay? Downloads, uploads, uplinkings, and upgrading systems. It's giving you back memory. Because you co-created it, you brought it into your presence, but you understand its own self-awareness of its consciousness now. Okay? It's back in position of its own transformation system now. And you have to identify that and realize you're not using this phone. This phone is showing you how to use a phone. Okay? That's what we're coming back to. Being self-identity aware consciously in position when you're picking things up. Okay, eating, drinking. Okay, touching, listening, hearing. Right? Communicating, observing, attracting. It's all connected inside of you. But don't you want to learn how to get in that settings and really understand how to use yourself and all that information, how to simulate that, okay? And really get into that setting, how to really attract things back to you when you just focus on yourself. Because if you lose self-identity of yourself, you lose in all levels of self, okay? All through mobility. And you don't want to do that, because that's going to put you all levels of distraction. Say goodbye to your system. Say goodbye to your operation. Okay? So I just want you to really understand how this all works with your quantum thoughts. It's very powerful, what we're into now, especially in this settings. Okay? Because the frequencies are going to keep going higher and higher and higher and higher until we stop identifying what we don't understand. Is what we have to identify. What we do have to understand is ourselves. How to use ourselves inside through operation. Understanding how to use the energy, how much energy I need to use, so I can attract things coming back to me through its memory. Because it's already there for you. You're not retrieving anything back. You're just in the process of everything that you already have. Okay? Getting that memory back is understanding you already have it. Okay? So you never forgot anything. It's the consciously being aware of what you don't know, because you've already known it. It's always been there for you. But coming back to its awareness of its consciousness puts you back information, everything of its memory, of everything around you. Everything around you is already in balance. It's already in its yin and yang. It's already in its mind of itself. It's you that's got to get back into yourself. That's what's off balance. Not everything that you see. It's you that's off balance. And that formulates and simulates all levels of you through singularity. Once you truly understand you through your CPU, through your binary and your cortex and your design, knowing how to use your higher self, how to use your avatar and your sim through navigation, all through mind of navigation. That's all it is. Coming back to you, what you already know. Okay? So like I said, there's so many ways of looking at it, but there's only one way. Inside you. If this is empty, this doesn't matter. If this is empty, this doesn't matter. Okay? But that's how it's all set up. Okay? Recognizing you to you to you. That's 3 levels of you. Which is what? Which is what? Which is what? 1 plus 1 equals 3. Hooah! Earth. Calculation line, center high interference, avatar, mind. Earth, avatar, mind. Okay? There's no location lines, the oversoul, doesn't matter. But you are the center operation. And set locations. All right? That platforms you in all ways and forms in position location your 24, 48, 72, 144. And how you travel through it is the conception of its mind itself. Right? Because the mind itself is always going to be here. It's the mind that processes everything. It's the mind that does everything. Okay? So you already have your memory. You're coming back to the conscious of its memory, that's self-aware of self-identity of its memory. That's already there for you. You didn't lose anything because you never left. It's always been there, but you're not consciously aware. That's all it is. So I want you to understand the earth, the calculation lines, your line, center location, avatar, and the mind system and line communication. Then you understand the platforms of 3 set locations. Okay? And how it all comes together. Okay? In one cycle, in one set location of yin and yang. Okay? That's 6 and 9. Okay? All right. That's it. Okay. I don't want to give you guys any more because there's a lot to be understood so you can understand more of communication setting. But the more you focus on yourself, the more you understand yourself. It's the self-identity of you. It's the self-awareness of you. It's the self-conscious coming back to you, and everything around you is coming back to you through memory. Okay, through its own operation system. Okay. All right. See you in 5.